Hello and welcome to another Everquest leveling guide, this time for 116 to 120. This is my opinion. So here we go. Assumptions: you're either solo, you're either in a group of real people, or you're multi-boxing. I'm gonna say free accounts no longer can apply to this. This is gold count only. I'll change that in the slides. Access to the guild hall teleporters is useful. Using your lesson of devout is mandatory, I would say, and knowing maps and stuff is good to go. So this is just the basic stuff I have in all the slides. Snare, shrink, just the basic mechanics of Everquest. All right, so these are the groups I used for testing, leveling from 115 all the way to 120. I counted at 116 though, because most of my characters were max 115, so they literally dinged right away. So first group was a Shadow Knight, Shaman, Bard, Beast Lord, Rogue, and Necromancer. They were mostly all full COV tier 3 trade skill gear, so the best group gear you can get. Up until like the Rogue, and then the Rogue was tier 2, just mission loot with weapons from trade skills. And the Necromancer is Nomagard, of course, and he is he is horribly undergeared, but that's the gist of it. So the average group DPS is about 1 million DPS without burn, and the burn got up to 2 to 4 million, probably higher now. I haven't done a burn on since I got them all to 120, but yeah, and most of them, the Shadow Knight, Bard, Beast Lord were max AA, the Shaman was almost max AA, and the Rogue was missing a lot, and the Necromancer was missing a lot of AA, but they had a lot of the important ones. My second group was a Warrior, Cleric, Enchanter, Mage, Berserker, and a Druid. The Warrior had a mix of COV tier 3 and tier 2. I didn't have enough time to gear him up before. The Berserker was in still mostly heroic, level 85 gear from the heroic boost I used on it, but I think I gave it a COV tier 3 two-hander, so it had a little bit more damage. The Mage was a mix of COV tier 3, so the Mage was the best geared in this group, because it used to be in this group. I swapped the Mage with Nomagard, and max AA on that one too. Yeah, they mostly had tier 1 or tier 2, or yeah, some tier 2, mostly tier 1, TOV or COV. I just kind of stopped spending money. It was like 25,000 platinum per. I just stopped. So their average DPS was around 500,000. Their burn got to 1 to 2 million, maybe so close to 3 million. The Mage does most of the damage in that group. And I'm gonna do videos on all these classes and stuff when I get to that point where they're all ready to do that. And then the final, I did some solo with Nomagard. I did, I think, a few streams where I sold him, and you've seen his gear. You've seen how slow it takes for him to kill if you've watched any of those videos. But his average DPS is about 100 to 200k. Sometimes it gets a little higher, but he's missing so many AAs, nothing is beneficial. Let's see here. So this 116 to 120 spell abilities, they're all located in Maiden's Eye in the Hidden Cave. There's a video on that somewhere. I'll probably put a link if I remember to that video, but it's really easy to find if you take the guild hall teleporter to Maiden's Eye. It's like right behind there ish, in that area. Spells are about 4,000 to 5,000 platinum each, so bring your money. Upgrading, yeah, so if you upgrade some of your spells too soon, you're gonna be at a DPS loss, because you're gonna lose your focus, AA focus if you had those, and you're gonna miss out on the type 3 focus gems that you could have gotten from TOV vendors that were available. I think they're still available, but they do not work on the new spells, so something to keep in mind. I'll go over that a little bit later in some of the interesting parts of that. All right, so the method one is questing. You can go through and you can do all the quests, all the mercenary quests, all the partisan quests, all the group missions, and all that stuff, and get to 120. And that's what I kind of started doing with the main group, my main group, right? I did the mercenary quests on stream with No Regard solo, and then offline I would just do the whole group through there because there's a lot of tedious hailing and stuff like that. That just gets a little bit annoying. That's why I don't really do the multi-boxing videos for these quest things. But those are about 5 to 7 experience per zone. So you do the 3 mercenaries in each zone, you get 5 to 7% experience, plus the experience it took you to kill the like 8 to 10 mobs for each of those. All right. The partisan quests are a little bit more involved, right? They have multiple steps. Maiden's Eye was fairly easy, and those are, when you do all 3 of those, you get about 10 to 12 plus the experience from the thing. So this is one-time experience, and it adds up, right? You do them all throughout all the things. You get bonuses for completing all of that. So that is a thing. There's also collection quests that you can do, and the overseer quests. I don't have them mentioned here, but they're in all the other videos. Collections are 2%, so if you get all the collectibles in for one of the collection, you get 2% plus 17 AA. That's another way of getting experience. I didn't think it was very viable for a group type thing. Solo, you could do it, definitely, but this method is probably the best way for a solo person to go through the expansion, I would say, because the big burst in experience and this, you have the slower kill time, which is unfortunate. Or if you have a group of real people to do all of the different intricate things, like there's one quest in Umbral Plains where you have to run to inside of a cave and pick up something, and you have to do it twice in 2 different caves, and there is it's kind of annoying because it doesn't instant respawn. So if you brought a whole group there, you have to literally kill 20 or 30 mobs, or sit there and viz and hope nothing sees you in viz. And I had a lot of issues with that when I was running through here. But this is one method, questing all the way through the expansion. And we're going to do all the quests with No Regard, but that's one of the methods. I did most of this on Group A. I got through most of the quests and stuff like that, and it was very enjoyable, and it was fairly fast. Method 2 is grinding. Grinding is probably the most consistent method that I found anyway. And there's 2 different grinds that I recommend: the Restless Assault mission and the Great Divide from the TOV expansion, or the Shea Ventaris from the new Luckland expansion. You just pretty much walk up to him, say small, say ready, you can zone in. Restless Assault, there's a worm cave full of worms. Go kill them, quit the task. There is some Coldane inside the cave too, kill them too. It's slower, but it's easy. It's about 0.5, yeah, I would say 0.5 to 0.5 experience per kill in this one. This is good for groups and multi-boxers. If you're in a group, you can probably go through it really quick. Multi-boxer can go through it really quick also. The Shaven Ventaris is a little harder. It is not for weakly geared people. If you're like raid geared or something like that, you could just probably walk through this and not have any problems. I had a good time doing it at first, but the kill time was just so slow because as I was upgrading my spells, I didn't realize that I was losing all the focus items until later on in my adventures. And then as my kill times went down, I was just went back to Restless Assault, and I just grinded out everything there. All my characters hit 120 in the Restless Assault mission, even though I did the first method, and I just moved to this towards the end because I was getting annoyed with the servers were crashing right before Christmas and all that stuff. So I was just like, that's it, I'm just gonna go do that. I didn't want to do this one just because the difficulty was up there, and I just couldn't kill fast enough to make it better than this one, right? The experience is better in this, but you kill all of this stuff faster, and you can kill all this stuff and reset it. So All right, so the task missions. So there's task ads, right? People sell these in on my server, and they're about 500 to a million per. I didn't buy any of these, but I tried. No one would go lower than 500,000. I didn't think it was worth it. But each mission you do, there's 4 missions in the expansion. You get a 20 to 25% first time completion bonus. So you get 25% of a level. And then when you complete all 4 of them, you get another 25%. So you can get, a level and another 25% of a level just by doing these. And you can buy that and get that done. So if you're like at 118 and some change, you can buy that and maybe get 120. The shade, so, it's just costly. That's how much it costs on Bristlebane. And some people were asking for Chrono. So that was just getting a little annoying. The shade mission, it's very easy if you can cure the, if you can mez the ads and cure the Death Touch curse thing that comes out. If you can do that, you should be easy to do it in 60 seconds or less, I think, is the kill time I've seen. I was able to do it 115, 116, but once I upgraded my spells, I fell into that trap where I didn't realize that I was losing all those focus. My DPS was going from 3 million-ish down to really low. I think it was like 2 million, and that was making the difference between being able to get everything done in the fast enough time. Once I upgraded everything and I started getting more AAs at 120, I was able to go in and kill it again, no problem. Now my goal is to start progressing through all the rest of the group missions. Now that I'm there, I just need more AA. So you've hit 120. Now you got to do the real grind. The real grind is getting max AA again if you were not already. There's 3 options, pretty much the same as what you've already been doing. Restless Assault is okay, but the mobs, the colding become light blue. The worms are still blue at 120. So that is the easy route, I would say. The better route is Shave Ventaris. You can go in there and grind that. Everything should be blue in there at 120. I'd have to look again. I think the only red mob was the boss. But I don't recommend doing either of those, honestly. I recommend going find a named camp and camp the named for the chance of getting the blood-soaked gear, which is the new chase gear, which is equivalent to either COV or TOV Tier 1 raid gear. So it's better than the Tier 3 craftable gear from... It's very confusing, right? So each expansion has 3 tiers of group gear, and I think 3 tiers of raid gear, and the 3rd tier being craftable. So it's this gear, the Blood-Soaked, is better than the Tier 3 craftable gear from the Luckland expansion. So this would be the best in slot if you don't raid. And you can sell it for anywhere from 5 to 10 chrono, and I saw someone selling the pet earring for like 80 chrono and they weren't budging. So yeah, that's what I recommend. Go and find a named and just camping it, because you're going to want to get the augs and stuff like that can drop. All right, so now this is for if you want to power level somebody. This is, I changed it up a little bit from before, but it's pretty much the same thing. 85 to 100, group with a level 115 character. You can go to any of these zones and just kill everything with the 115 character, and the lower level will get a bunch of experience. As they get closer to 100, you can probably take them to TOL zones with a level 120 and do the same thing. Kill times might be slower because of the sheer amount of hit points these new mobs have, but it's an option you have for that. From 95 to 100, I recommend the Darkness Howls mission, and from 100 to 120, Restless Assault, or you could probably do the Shave Antares mission. I just don't know the level requirement for it. I know if Restless Assault was 100 to be able to zone in there, so maybe it's like 115 to get in there. But Zendikar was 113 and Aranar was 113 also from the COV. So you might not be able to get into those at 100. But they do have the chance of dropping all the trade skill stuff, and that, you know, you're gonna need gear. You're not gonna be able to go into this expansion with lower tier gear and not be just one shot. I'm in tier 3 COV stuff, and there was some pulls that I just got completely obliterated, and my Shadow Knight is full defensive AAs at this point, and he's still getting a little trucked here and there, but it's not as bad. I think he's almost at like 9500 AC. It's pretty crazy. All right. So here's some resources if you want to go look and find some information on your own. Raidloot.com has all the gear searchable. I don't think it has blood-soaked gear yet, but it will soon. EQ Progression is another website that has a lot of quests and different stuff. It's more TLP focused, but it's got a lot of good information. Alakazam is probably the #1 site for finding anything related to items or quests. EQ Resource probably tied with Alakazam at this point for finding that information. And Red Guides has a lot of multi-boxing focused stuff. Even if you don't want to use macro quest or any of that stuff, it still it's a valuable resource that it is lacking for a game that's this old. You know, it's got all that information that is nuanced for that kind of stuff. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I know the video is a little long, but it's a lot of information. And here's all the links, if you will. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, Discord, Odyssey. That's that. So if there's anything else, nothing else that anybody has any questions with, just put them in the comments down below, and I will try to answer as many as I can. But other than that, thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.